What's up, guys, and welcome back to another replay cast. If you didn't watch yesterday, you really should have. This is a game between Flash and Jaedong. We are on Tau Cross, and this is game 2 of the World Cyber Game semi-finals that were played in Los Angeles in June of 2010. And this game is regarded by many as one of, if not the best game of Brood War ever played. So for context, if you watched yesterday, you would have seen game 1 on match point, where Flash opened mech, and it was an epic back and forth macro game, absolutely awesome. And here is game 2. Obviously, one of these players has lost the first game, and the other one has won it. So one of these players is under a lot of pressure here. Lots of people watching on a stage in LA, huge crowd. So that's the context here. That sets the scene. So I'm very, very excited to see what we have here today. So this is a game that I have seen and actually cast in the past as well, but because of the story behind the semi-final and because of the fact that today both of these two players are featuring in ASL 21. At time that you're watching this, I actually have no idea how they would have done in ASL 21, but I'm quietly hoping that they match against each other somewhere along the way, because that would just be absolutely unreal, especially for us as nostalgic and somewhat nerdy Brood War fans that we all are. So I think it's going to be amazing. I'm really, really looking forward to bringing you guys today's game. So Flash went making game 1. We'll see what he does here on Tau Cross in game 2, which is a 3-player map. So we have Jaedong doing the first scout after he's gone hatchery first. So very, very standard stuff from him at this stage. And yeah, man, imagine the feeling of playing on stage and you just got all this expectation. It must just be unreal in many ways, but it's also pretty fun. So we are making our barracks. First Marine coming out, being a bit of a nuisance here, harassing. Just by the way, guys, thanks so much for all of the subscriptions and support, likes, interaction, engagement, etc. When I came back to Brood War, I didn't think it would take, I thought it would take me a really long time to get any traction again and get up to 1,000 subs, but this stage looks like we'll get there well before my original target, which was the end of the year. I think we're looking at June, maybe we'll be there, perhaps even before. And that's just a tribute to you guys for all of the support and love that you've shown me. So just thanks very much. I really, really appreciate that. So we're doing a 2 Marine expand. So not a mech opening here from Flash. They're definitely mixing up different strategies on different maps. Unfortunately, he has chosen to play in brown. Jaedong always plays in orange in these competitions. But Flash is playing in brown, and that is not a very nice color. Anyway, we will endure, because the alternative is no colors at all, which last time I checked is not ideal. First couple of Marines popping out. Going gas before Academy. So we'll see if he's just going to do the standard SK Terran progression. Also going eBay before Academy. So this is an interesting build. So Flash was always an innovator. You very seldom see eBay before Academy, but it looks like he's doing some sort of +1 rush. So it does imply timing, or at least intent to do some kind of timing. Still got our SCV alive, although he's only got a handful of hit points left on him. Oh, one more hit and he'll be history. That's the end of that. Doesn't confirm the Spire timing. Doesn't even confirm the lair timing. Here's the lair in the natural. So will Flash send out another scouting probe or scouting SCV, or is he just going to assume that Jaedong is going to play standard? I think he's probably just going to assume that he's going to play standard. We will have to see. He's gathering a little pod of Marines, and he has rushed +1 attack. So some kind of timing definitely feels like that's the plan. So let's keep an eye on him and see how he goes. Lair on the way. Saving up a decent sum of money, so it does seem to be that he's just going to drop a Spire. And where does he do that? Looks like he's done it here in his natural, or in his main, I beg your pardon. And dropping a creep I think because these lings are kind of spotted that he's got a pretty scary number of marines at this stage of the game. So one safety sunken. Very sensible way to go. A couple more speedlings on the way as well. So just keeping those hands warm. Peak Jaedong easily and comfortably played over 400 APM for an entire game, which is just makes the mind blow, man. Really, really does. Mind-boggling stuff. So trying to be as optimal as possible, not making the sunken unless he absolutely needs it. So runs around here just to confirm no gas. Also sees the scanner, so you'll know that it's Academy, because obviously you can't build scanners without an Academy. Stem on the way. Is that still just +1? Yes, so +1. It's obviously a relatively slow upgrade. But if it hits at the same time the mutas do, I think it certainly does help the Terran. And he scans the natural, sees the lair. Oh, we got to run by, and Frank the Firebat, who's wearing brown today, has got some work to do here in the retreat. We'll knock down a turret. That's a useful target because obviously mutas are incoming. Picks off an SCV, which is nice. First couple of mutas are on the way, as well as some additional lings. Firebats do their work there, but here come our mutas. And Jaedong is... wow, it's got 9 mutas here, so definitely going to keep Flash busy. Another knockdown of a turret. Oh, wow. He's got himself 4 SCVs so far. That's 5. Hasn't lost any mutas here. He does lose 1. But 1 muta in exchange for 5 SCVs seems like a good deal. Also expanding over here because of the map control that his mutas afford him. Just scanning around to see where his mutas are. Jaedong definitely determined to try and keep Flash pinned at home. Giving himself time. He's getting a very quick Queen's Nest. So this looks like Lurker, but quick Hive tech. He's not going to be messing around in terms of his tech tree. Again, just scans and actually finds Jaedong's space. So he's going to go and pressure that spot right away. Very nice casting skills there, I must say, to spot that scan. And just scanning where his army is again. Confirming there's no lurker spines or anything like that, although the timing probably wouldn't be optimal for that anyway. It looks like he wants to pressure, and Jaedong knows. Here we go, scanning again to confirm what is and isn't there. So Muta Ling combo, all these fun bridges connecting everything. Like the OG maps, man. They were very, very cool. How's this Overlord going to survive from all these angles? Legend. Alright, well now it looks like he's going to have Flash in his front door. Does he have any lurkers? He does, okay. So +1 Marines against 3 Sunkens and a couple of lurkers. 3 lurkers stacked. Now, he's going to look like he wants to counter harass. This is going to be a challenge for me. I'm going to have to keep my eye on the muta harassment and when he moves his units. Does lose that very, very low muta there. Still no movement as of yet. A couple of lurkers being made. Hive is just about done. I don't think he can get too much more done here. Just scans in front to see what's happening. Sees how many lurkers there are. Getting a Nidus as well, so the impact of Hive tech already showing itself to be useful. We're getting a Defiler Mound, another... Don't think you can really get too much done here, although now, suddenly, looks like Flash is going to get sandwiched here. Mutas could pick up some stray units. See everything moving down in like a scary conga line. Oof, Lurker Spines, bro. Always, always the Lurker Spines. Tanks could be a bit brutal though, couldn't they? Well, it's like Flash wants to put some pressure on you, and Jaedong is going to be sweating. You do not want Flash on your front door. Lurkers, they are kind of in between here. Okay, so he moves in on this. Backs away. Oh, he's picking up so many free units here. Flash a little slow to react. Does pull back some of the bio, but this little planting of these 3 lurkers on the pathway, a master stroke from Jaedong, definitely slowed Flash down and distracted him. Nice. The Nidus reinforcing here really helps too. But how are you going to fend this off? Dark Swarm making itself known for the first time. And suddenly the tanks have to retreat. Marines getting stuck under Lurker Spines is not what you want if you're Terran. Meanwhile, once again, strategically placed Lurkers picking up the retreating units. Really, really good play from Jaedong. And our supplies are suddenly quite equal. Just scans the main to see what the tech's looking like. You could burrow here and make these guys feel very sad, Jaedong. I think your APMs, though, being taxed elsewhere. Does eventually burrow. So now Flash moving to another part of the map. Just scanning to see what's here. Oof! The sound of lurkers and dying marines. Bit of a sandwich here, but these things aren't getting much done. I fear for the survival of this little pod of marine medic. They seem very lonely, like they've been forgotten or something. So this is scanning the area before he attacks. Irradiate seems to be the play. Flash wants to contest this base, and I think he needs to. There's also not a lot of bases on Towercross. That's something that it has in common with Matchpoint, which we saw in the previous game. So now we are dropping some tanks on this ledge, as well as some bio. And this is a very, very dirty move from Flash. I wonder if he's going to have the spotting to try and kill these chaps. I think he is. But he's going to get the gas here. So Jaedong decides, well, let me try and tidy this up with my remaining mutas. Radiate seems to be the counter to that, and that was a really, really good Irradiate. Jaedong didn't manage to separate all those units, and now the Marines are shot from the bottom side, and this tank survives. And so this harassment from Flash continues. Meanwhile, this newly established hatchery of Jaedong's is going to pretty much be denied before it even gets off the ground. We'll keep our attention here for the time being. Flash really, really seems keen on trying to deny this position. Using the drops over here. Blanking with a main pod of marine bio over here. Nice dive on from the lurkers. Holy crap. Holy crap. Look at these spines. Oof, okay, well those lurkers just shredded that marine ball. Once again trying to establish this gas. And once again this pesky tank on top here. Doing his thing. scans to see what there is. Well, he's plagued all these units, so that's that. So Jaedong really wants to try and deny or contend for that position and keep this one safe. So another big convergence of Lings versus Lurkers. These Lurkers are proving to be quite painful if you're a Flash fan. Oh! Oh my god, bro, Lurkers. Wow. Holy crap. Flash now establishing this base. It's a mineral only, but still very valuable. Still can't get this gas up and running, but Jaedong is doing his utmost to hold on to this position. This base is unestablished, and I think this is a pretty critical source of income. This one and this one in the grander scheme of this game. So Flash tries to jump on this and has shredded through those Lurkers. Some more coming through the Nidus though, but he's killing a lot of drones here. And chased down a couple of vessels with Scourge. That was really good from Jaedong, but he's lost this hatchery. Holy crap, guys. Lurkers. Jesus Christ. Wow. Okay, so another base being established by Jaedong, even though he's lost the spot. And Flash is happily mining here. Units running in across this bridge. I think Jaedong wants to deny this and establish this. Okay, so he's managed to set this up. And I think he does not want to let Flash take this position, or at least he wants to deny it for as long as what he can. Once again, this pesky tank on the dropship is up top here. And that's going to slow down the re-establishment of the space. He's killed a lot of vessels, this Jaedong. His Scourge play has been excellent. So he's plagued everything, but he just can't get it killed. So it has his Lurkers, has his Muters, has his Defilers, has everything here. It's got this up and running. It's got this up and running. Flash doesn't have a choice. Flash has got to take the game to Jaedong here. Jaedong has got more critical bases established. Flash has got to go contest for these bases. Otherwise, Jaedong's going to have the ascendancy in the long run. And that's really what Jaedong's done here. He's just tried to take and hold as many positions on this limited base map as possible. Very similar to what he tried in the previous game, but he just couldn't hold the bases. And that seems to be a similar kind of narrative in this match as well. Nice plague on all the vessels. Couple of Scourge again. Dying Lurkers to irradiate. And the Ultras hit the field. Oh my god, here we go. Hi. The Ultras are having a good time. Shredding through the bio. Our siege tank is still blowing away this gas. If gas was like a thing alone, and killing gases, Flash would take this game just based on that premise. Of course, it isn't a standalone thing. How many times can you deny someone's gas? But holy crap, it's happened a lot in this match. So the spotter eBay sees that Jaedong has established this new base, and the gas that he's getting from this base is actually proving to be very valuable. Once again, he's kind of just held here without being able to mine the gas. Another engagement and trade of units. Some plagues here would be juicy. Does have a Dark Storm and a plague. Very nicely done. His vessel count, or the amount of vessels he's killed, has just been outstandingly good. Now the plague, lurkers, just the number of marines that have died to lurker spines in this match has just been unreal. So a nice little pot of tanks here that Flash has to kind of tackle this composition of Jaedong's head on. Irradiates, though, also a very, very powerful spell. Just scanning to see what his arm is doing. It's going to look like it's going to be Ling Ultra Lurker with a little bit of Defiler support from Jaedong. And you just see the irradiates one after the other. Just want to sort of seems to want to take this army on head on here. Irradiated 3 ultras already. Very nicely done by Flash. And seems to want to take this base on, but I don't think he's going to have enough units here. Nicely tidied up. Another big pod of Flash army moving down this way. I think he wants to try and challenge this base now. So Jaedong once again is going to have to reposition his units, throw down a few decent spells as well, because this is a lot of tanks. I don't think he can fight this just with pure Ling Ultra. He's going to need a bit of Plague or something. Lurkers are kind of sieged up on top here. D-Matrix on the tank, of course, because who has time? And now would be a good time to be stressing if you're a Jaedong fan. This base has got a lot of drones at it, and there really isn't much defending this. Still just holding this position off, so you can't mine the gas. Alright, so he's sending in everything, and the kitchen sink. But now the Marines are starting to die, and here we go. Lurkers are going to try and siege up on top of these Marines. Throws down a Dark Swarm, forces some of these Marines back. Get some Lurkers under the Dark Swarm here, but the tank line is severely deep, and he's losing a lot of drones here. There isn't really much else left. 99 Jaedong supply, and I think that is looking like the end of the road for him. I just don't see how Flash loses it from here. Also pressuring this base and just spreading Jaedong so thin. Couple of Lings coming in here, but there really isn't that much left. So this base is gone. He did pull most of those drones. He managed to save them. And he has held onto this base for the time being. He still has this going as well. But losing this base is a critical blow if you're a Zerg fan. Does have this as well. Just a big army deficit. Scanning everywhere to see his army movements. So if you're Jaedong, what is the next play here? I think it's to try and re-establish this position. And if you're Flash, it's to stop exactly that. So here we go, sending in some units to try and pick off these tanks. It's going to get sandwiched though, and there isn't that much here. This is predominantly Lings. The Ultras get very quickly irradiated. It's kind of flanking this though, and I think this is going to be a nice engagement for Zerg, because all these tanks are just basically getting shredded. There's nothing protecting them. And suddenly, this position, which was looking pretty well entrenched by Flash, is open once again for Jaedong to potentially re-establish. And that could again swing the game back because of money, right? So how many mining bases has Flash got? He's got that. And that's it. So Flash is under serious pressure to knock down and arrest away one of these bases from Jaedong. Another huge ultra engagement here. Tanks are looking like they're going to hold on. And I think Flash is going to potentially try and press advantage to this base again. Jaedong, as mentioned before, has re-established here. And Flash is definitely on a clock. He's running out of money. Doesn't have forever that he can keep doing this. So scanning these positions, trying to establish, and Jaedong has mined the minerals at this base the whole time. Another decent amount of irradiates for sure. Okay, so it looks like Flash is going to try and push this base once more. Scanning what there is there. So another flank again, throwing in Lings from the top side. The bottom side's predominantly Lings, although the Dark Swarm really helps because then the Lings can get on top of the tanks. And with crackling power, Lings can chew through tanks pretty quickly. But once again, Flash holds firm. More Jaedong there coming now just to try and thin the ranks a bit. It's becoming progressively more and more expensive for Flash to keep on reinforcing his army. But Jaedong once again below 100 supply. So 136 plays 96. Dropship here, which I unfortunately did miss, where that hatchery was knocked down. So once again, the onus is going to be on Jaedong to try and re-establish there. Uh-oh. Looks like we're going to do the old vessel trick, I think. Dead drone. Oh, nope. Denied. Oh, really, really well done there by Jaedong. He still doesn't have overlord speed. 27 minutes, guys. No overlord speed. Who needs that? Crazy. We're re-establishing this once again. So even though the dropship worked nicely, as it did, we are picking up vessels here like there's no tomorrow. And that's just very, very expensive. I mean, money is getting thin here. Thin, thin, thin. It's got this base as well, though. But if Jaedong can deny that base somehow, it's going to definitely swing the pendulum. Another nice engagement here with the mech and the tanks. Uh-oh. This is going to be a very, very critical part of this game. I just don't know what Jaedong has to fend this off. It's got... no. Nearly got this up and running again. It's going to have to be the hold of holds here, guys. What's he building here? He wants to take this base preemptively. He's making the command center. That shows intent. That's what you call being cocksure. Lovely plague here, though. It's going to shred through these units pretty quick. So 143 plays 95. Scans to confirm that he's once again re-established his base. Throwing in Lings and Ultras from all angles, but Flash still just seems to be able to hold firm. Although now suddenly these tanks are backing away. They don't seem to have much behind them. And so Jaedong does hold this position. And he's got this up and running. There's no drones here yet. It's not mining, but definitely still in with a sniff, albeit small. It all comes down to money at the end of the day. So once again, a couple of units coming in here, and I think Jaedong has got intent to clear this off. So holds firm for the time being. Meanwhile, this base, which he's held onto for the overwhelming majority of this game, is now finally gone. And he's dropped behind here and killed a whole stack of drones. Going to send some Lings behind to tidy this up. So the multitasking of both players in this game and just the keeping track of everything that's happening has been very, very, very difficult. We'll kind of see. He wants to protect to establish this base. And he wants to pressure here. And he wants to try and take here. So Jaedong decides, well, I've got to throw the kitchen sink at this. You cannot have this base. It's too critical within the greater context of this game. Another plague on the Marines. Very nicely done. Can't mine here while these Marines are here. So it's going to be forced to tidy that up. Making them command center because, as we've said before, he's running out of money. It's only got this base. So Ultras do finally come and tidy up the Marines that were behind here. So who is going to challenge this pot of tanks? That's the big question. Wants to land this command center and finally take what is probably a Terran base in the context of this map. Transferring some workers, which Jaedong's Lings are chasing down feverishly. Let's got this base up and running. As we can see there, just scans to confirm. So once again, trying to take the spot, denying and slowing him down with Dark Swarm predominantly, and a little bit of Plague. Once again, scanning to confirm that he has the space. And looks like he's going to dive on these tanks. Picking up a couple of that have strayed from the main pack. Siege is up. And sending in some units from the Nidus here, and I think with the Dark Swarm and the Plague, should be able to thin the numbers, but it is still quite a scary force that Flash has. Gotta remember, guys, he's really low on money. So he's established this. He's got this, which he's had to now lift off because Jaedong has sent some Lings to counter and block his income stream there. And once again, just picking up all these drones. Chasing down the retreating SCVs as well. And Jaedong is slimming through the numbers here. Has held so firm to keep this base online. And the very fact that this base is up and running means that I think Flash is going to have to concede this game. He's not going to have the reinforcements to knock down this base and this base. And that's what he's about to try and do. So it's a final roll of the dice to knock down both. Here we go. And there's just not enough of him, so he's going to hold this. And he's going to send units from the Nidus to also hold this. It's 2 tanks, a handful of Marines, and basically Flash has just run out of money in probably one of the most, if not the most, epic Terran versus Zergs, or just simply put, epic games of Brood War ever. What a game. There were 2 points in that game where it was 160 versus 90 supply. Most Zergs would have just been toast, finished, gone. And somehow Jaedong held on, kept his nerve, held the bases he needed to hold until Flash ran out of money, ran out of steam. And that was just unreal. It's the second time I've cast this game. And the first time I cast it was probably 3-4 years ago. I had no idea in the context of the match where it was game 2 in a best of 3. So I will bring you guys the final game in the series tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that, please do hit the like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Why not, bro? Look at the cool stuff we do here. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye.